Welcome in English classroom. Today we are going to learn our third part of transferred epithet. Epithet means adjective. We can find out in transferred epithet an adjective is transferred from the word it qualifies to the other word. Let's see the example. In our first sentence, he passed a sleepless night. Now tell me in this sentence, sleepless is night or sleepless is he? We can find out the sleepless, this adjective is transferred from he to night. In second example, we can find out she had a happy day. Now tell me the day is happy or she is happy? In third example, I have had such a wonderful day. Now a day is wonderful or who has spent that day? That one was the wonderful. So in all our examples, we can find out the adjective, the epithet is transferred from its original place to other word. And so it is known as our transferred epithet. Come to us our next figure of speech. Our next figure of speech is synecdoche. In synecdoche, a part is used to indicate the whole or the whole for the part. Now see, India won the match. In first example, India won the match. Really, the whole India was playing the match? No. So this India refers to whom? Indian team. So the India is the whole and the team is the part. So here whole is representing the part. In our second example, my father gifted me wheels. Now tell me, really the father has gifted the wheels? No. Wheels refers to whom? Wheels here refers to car. So here part, wheel is the part and part is representing to the whole. In our third example, all the best brains in Europe could not solve the problem. Best brains in Europe. Miss, just I am talking about the brains? No, I am talking about the people of Europe. The best, the excellent people of Europe. And so here also the part is representing the whole experience educated people of Europe. And so our figure of speech is known as synecdoche. Let's come towards the next figure of speech and that one is metonymy. Metonymy is the figure of speech where an object is referred to by the name of something associated with it. In simple words, we can tell one of the object of that particular person is used to denote the whole person. Let's see how it works. The crown is giving the speech. Now tell, here the crown is referred to whom? The crown is referred to king. In second example, the chair has taken the decision. Here, the chair is referring to whom? The authority who is there. And in third example, the bench took the decision. The bench is the object and bench refers to whom? Bench refers to judges. So the metonymy is our figure of speech where an object is referred. The crown, the chair and the bench. These are the objects and these objects are denoting as the king, authority and judges. So let's move towards our next figure of speech, and that one is pun. Pun is the figure of speech where we are playing with words. Sometimes in the pun we can find out the one word is having two meanings. Our first example, a happy life depends on a lever. Now, here the lever is having the two meanings. Here the lever means the one of the organ, body part, and the second meaning is the lever means who? A person who is going to live the life. In our second example, we saw a big trunk. Here the trunk means two meanings are also coming. First meaning, trunk means our box, and the second meaning of the trunk is the tree's trunk. Trees, that the lower part, the thick one part, that one is also known as the trunk. So the trunk is having two meanings here. And in our third example, where we can find out the play upon words. If we'll read the third sentence properly. Hello, how's life? Hello, it's a strike. So this hello and this hello, these are the playing upon words. And so our figure of speech is pun. Let's move further. Our next figure of speech is imagery. Imagery is the figure of speech which is related to our senses. We know we have the five senses: hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. Even imagery is the figure of speech where we can visualize that the particular picture in front of our eyes. And maximum time we can find out the poet is using imagery in natural poems. In natural poems, we can find out figure of speech imagery. Let's see the first example. I touched the soft silk. Now here, I touched the soft silk. We all have know the silk, how it is the soft. But when the poet is telling, I touched the soft silk, even that kind of silk and silk touch we can imagine. And so here our figure of speech imagery is there. In second sentence, I saw the dazzling light. Now this dazzling light, we can visualize the picture, the lights everywhere. And this is our figure of speech imagery. In the third sentence, we can find out I could hear the murmuring sound. Now the murmuring sound. So we can find out here one sense, that one is the hear something. And so it is called the figure of speech imagery, where we can visualize that particular scene in front of our eyes. And most of the time in nature poem where the beautiful description is given, we can find out the imagery figure of speech. Our next figure of speech is climax. Things or ideas are arranged in ascending order of importance. Let's see how. He lost his notebook, watch, car, mother, and child in an accident. If we'll see towards this sentence, ideas or things are arranged in ascending order. Here we have to climb the ladder. How we are climbing the ladder from one step to the last one step. In the same way, our figure of speech is the climax. Let's see the second example. She sobbed, okay, cried painfully, and then wailed uncontrollably at the news. So the intensity of the crying, it's increasing and increasing. So our figure of speech is climax. Climax, in the simple words we can tell, it's like the climbing the ladder, climbing the steps. And opposite of climax, our next figure of speech is that one, anticlimax. Things or ideas are arranged in descending order of importance, where we are climbing the steps in climax. In anticlimax, opposite of it, we have to come down from the ladder. He lost his child, his mother, car, watch and notebook in accident. So most important thing is the child, then mother, then car, then watch and then afterwards notebook. So here the figure of speech is the anticlimax. Ideas are arranged in descending order. We can see the second example. In second example, she left me her land, her money and her armchair. So the highest thing means highest important thing is coming at first, then lower than that, then lower than that, in which the arrangement is made. And so here is our figure of speech, anticlimax. And our last figure of speech which we are going to learn, this one is the epigram. Epigram is the figure of speech where we can find out. It states general truth and can be used as the saying or the quotes. We'll see the example. A thing of beauty is a joy for ever. Even you can use it as the proverb also. So all our proverbs are coming under the title of epigram. Even the general truth or the sayings or the quotes which we have accepted, all these are coming in the figure of speech epigram. Our second example, to believe is to know that every day is a new beginning. This one is one kind of saying and we have accepted it. So, it's our example of figure of speech, epigram. Students, I think in our all three parts, we have completed 26 figures of speech. I have tried my best to give you the proper meaning of figures of speech. If you have not seen the first two parts, then the links are given in the description box of this video. So go through those also the videos and you will be cover all the topics of figures of speech. Thank you very much for watching the video, and if you like the video then like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.